our hearts and in our everything around us. He reigns forevermore. We need to take this time to give God thank you. Tell him thank you. Because he reigns. See, the government think they reign. But the last time I checked, God reigns forevermore. Sometimes the doctors think they reign. Sometimes your boss think they reign. But I am so glad I serve a God that reigns. And you know what? If God is for me, all I need for him to be is for me. Because I know he is more than the world against me. For that cause, we ought to tell God thank you and know that he reigns forevermore. Those of you that have your Bible, the Lord dropped this in my spirit. Mark the 4th chapter, the 39th verse. And it reads, "And he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased. And there was a great calm." And if I had to use for a theme for this morning, storm of life, peace, be still. Storm of life, peace, be still. Hey, hallelujah. We are living in a problem society where believers and non-believers seeking for this 5-letter word of peace. We look around us and we hear and see the chaotic situation. We see shootings in the school, shooting in our community. We see the unemployment, people getting upset when they are terminated. We see war in Ukraine and Russia. In Washington, D.C., a potential government shutdown. The state of North Carolina and Wake County trying to secure a budget for this current fiscal year. Everyone is looking for a solution, which is seeking peace. As we look closer at home amongst our family and friends, we see that even the stay-at-home mother who earnestly prayed and fasted for that beautiful bundle of joy didn't realize at 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning that the alarm would go off and the baby start crying. She's looking for peace. An employee was hired to work 8 to 5. And then they found out they got to work after 5 and on weekends. So they're looking for peace. You got caretakers have to take care of an elderly parent or a relative. They are physically exhausted. They are mentally exhausted. They are looking for peace. Everywhere you go, we just want a little peace. Starbucks have coffee with a little shot so you can get a little peace. Parents in the home is exhausted of that hard-headed, runaway child. Every time they turn it around, the school is calling because the child has skipped school and now they're in the juvenile system and all they want is peace. They got a wife who's trying to carry the load. They thought when they got married that man was going to be there for better or worse. He left, and now she has to carry that hard load of paying the bills. And she wants peace. We have numerous people walking around, blood pressure up. They don't know how it got up. They want the blood pressure to be stable. They want peace. The blood sugar is up. They don't know what they're eating for the blood sugar to be up. They want peace. All of these kinds of storms, it will have you just all in a turmoil. But the word of God said, for God is not the author of confusion. Your mind is cluttered with all kinds of problems and thoughts. It's called the warfare of the mind. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. He wants to give you peace today. In the Hebrew word shalom, that's just not a regular peace. That's God's perfect peace. What is the definition of peace? We talk about it. We celebrate it during Christmas. But that's not only the time we need to seek peace is during the holiday. We need it all year round. 365 days a year, we need some peace. Peace is the freedom of disturbance. It is the freedom of disturbance. Sometimes you hate to pick up your phone because someone on the other end is going to disturb your peace. It's true. It is a state or a period of which there is no war. Peace is tranquility. That's why people go on vacation. That's why they have yoga. They go to the spa because they just want a little peace. Come on with it. The truth of the matter, the Bible states, in this world, we're going to have tribulation. But he did tell us to be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Then he turns around and tells us, for I know the thoughts I think towards you, said the Lord. Thoughts of what? Peace, not of evil, and to give you an expected end. You can have peace in the midst of your storm. When you pass through the waters, he said that he will be with us. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. My inner peace is telling me, when I walk through the fire, you shall not burn. And the flames will not scorch you. What is that? That's faith over fear. You don't need to fear because God is on your side. See, to be carnal-minded is death. But to be spiritual-minded is life and peace. God is trying to give us peace. How do you trust God in the midst of the storm? We have to be careful for nothing. But he said through prayer and supplication, make your requests known, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, your understanding, how you think of things, the peace will pass all understanding. You can calm your storm by focusing on Jesus, not your situation. One thing about a storm varies. Some storm is long time. Some is short. Some people get discouraged and faint heart. I've been going through this a long time. How long, God? How long? But guess what? You cannot get out the storm until God says so. That's right. He is in charge. But the good news is he have a remedy of how we can endure the storm. See, when he came on this earth, for unto us a child was born, a son was given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace. As we continue to grow in holiness and righteousness through the Holy Spirit, flesh will have to die. And the Spirit, you're going to have to develop the fruit of the Spirit. And one of the fruit of the Spirit is peace. A loved one can be a past, or you could be going through, and that peace will be in the midst of you. That's the Holy Spirit. That's that peace that will not shake. We need the Holy Spirit with that fruit of peace. Yes, we need it. And some storms is we bring on ourselves. Yeah, some things you bring on yourself. And some storms God calls us to go through. And then some storms you hook up with the wrong people, they cause you to go through these storms. So as we look at this text here, Mark, the 4th chapter, the 35th through the 40th verse, we know that Jesus, this storm was ordained because they were doing the will of the Father. Jesus just talked to a multitude of people. And they sent the people away, the disciples, because Jesus was on the boat. And on that day, Jesus said, let us pass over unto the other side. Then the disciple, they sent him away. So Jesus was tired from ministering earlier on that day. So when this storm happened, this was in the evening. The Bible indicated that there were other ships in the sea. To me, when I was thinking and reading and studying, this is an indication that people that you're sitting by or looking at, they have storms as well. You're not in this alone. But it's funny, it's not so much funny, but it's a blessing that Jesus was in the boat, but he also was tending to the other ships in the sea. So God is in the midst of everybody's situation, and regardless of what you're going through, he's taking care of me, he's taking care of you, he's taking care of you, he's taking care of you, he's taking care of all of us. He has everything in the palm of his hand. He's omnipotent. He takes care of the past, he takes care of the present, and he's definitely going to take care of the future. While he's handling your storm, you got to remember, he got it. He got it. You can't handle it. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to work it out, but you cannot work it out. Leave it alone. The key is go through and don't give up. The 37th verse says, it rose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat the ship into the ship, so that it was full. Some storms of life can be you don't have any money to pay your bill. Now here it is September, and some people have not even paid August bill, and we're about to go into October. That's a storm. Someone was diagnosed with an incurable disease. That is a storm. Somebody need money for their child. College just started. That's a storm. Your spouse died, and they were the primary provider, the only income in the household. That's a storm. Storms are real. They are real. But this little prayer really encourages me and several people. You see them all on the plaque. God grant me the serenity. That's the peace. To accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. And wisdom to know the difference. In here, when we deal with storms and different elements, and I know yesterday we had a storm, but when you think about wind is strong, it's forceful. It can tear up a structure. If you're not careful, if you're in the wind, it will move you. Think about you being in a storm. The wind, is blowing. The storm, it's just moving. And depending upon the storm, the duration, the category of the storm, your problem, it will take your breath away. Some people lose their life in a storm. But we as believers, we have that blessed hope. We have that trust and that hope in God that we can hold on and make it. Here in verse 38, Jesus was in the middle part of the boat. It says Jesus was in the hinder part. That means he was in the middle. That's an indication to let me know that he's in the middle, in the midst of my storm. I don't care what you're going through. He's in the middle of it. He's in the middle of your storm. Each one of us. And then he's so powerful. He commanded, peace, be still. Just 3 words. Now, one thing I noticed, what he did, which was wonderful, that he wanted us to be strong and courageous in the midst of the storm. In 39, he arose and, of course, rebuked the wind and said, peace, be still. But the good thing I saw in this, he stopped the entire operation. He stopped it. And the wind ceased. And it came a great calm. Nowhere in the passage the disciples informed Jesus of what was going on. They didn't tell him the 411. It, like us, if you call me, I have to get all the details in order to help you for an emergency. But God, Jesus, he didn't have to do that. He just woke up and he began to speak. Jesus knows our emergency. He's not like man. We need him through the storm. Now, how can we weather this storm? We need to pray. We need to pray with supplication. We need to pray, really prostrate before the Lord and pray. And we need to ask God for what we need him to do for us. And we need to use that authority because God will bring us out and bring us through. It says even in the 40th that Jesus asked the disciples, why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? The disciples was going on what they saw, and they forgot what they eyewitnessed. See, what they saw was they were going to drown. But faith says, do not fear. What they saw was death. But faith said, you're going to live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. Do not fear. I speak peace over you. Peace over your mind. Peace over your heart. And peace over your situation. It says, be careful for nothing, but in everything in prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. That means thank God. You have to let your request be made known. And of course, the peace of God, which passeth through all understanding, will keep your hearts and your mind. Faith says, I am with you. Be not dismayed. For I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my right hand. His thoughts and ways are not like ours. Your storm is trying to produce a greater inner work and trying to produce power. Come on. And the fear exceedingly, and one said to another, that's what disciples were saying. They were so scared. They start looking at each other. What manner of man is this? That even the wind and the sea obey him. They were just asking, who is this man? Who is he? But if the disciples was here today, I would tell them, I would just ask them, what do you mean, what kind of manner of man is this? It is Jesus. Simeon's mother-in-law, who he healed the fever. It was Jesus who healed the sick and diverse diseases. It was Jesus who cast out devils, then command the devils not to speak. It was Jesus who healed the man with the withered hand. It was Jesus who cleansed the leprosy. If the disciples was present again today, I would just say, do you know who he is? You was with him. But then I thought about it. That's like the children of Israel. They didn't trust God. And now we're kind of the same way. Because God has brought us through different storms, through different tests. He has delivered us. He has blessed us. And we're still in the same mindset instead of trusting God. He is the Prince of Peace. He is our way maker. He is Jehovah Jireh. Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus is the rose of Sharon. Jesus is the balm in Gilead. He is the lily of the valley. And with all power in his hands, he rose. So that's why he's authorized to say, peace, be still. Because he got power over every situation. We got to remember that he is in control. We're not in control. The problem is we get frustrated and agitated and attitude over everything because we can't have our way. You're not God. He is in control. You want to give him the blueprint, and he's going to show you he is God. You want to tell him what to do and when to do it. He know how to bust you open, bring you down, and let you know you're not all of that. We are here on an assignment, on his assignment, his plan, his divine will. And when it is over, it is over. The punishment that brought peace upon us is when he rose the third day with power. So that's why we know that he is in control. Now, as I close, while you are in your storm, you need to remember you can't change the ocean or the weather, no matter how hard you try. So it's best to learn how to sail in all conditions. For I have learned whatsoever state I am in. Now I have learned, I don't know about you, whatever state I am in, I learned to be content. Learn from your storm. Grow in your storm. And tell your storm, peace, be still.